Welcome to healthyayurveda.com. I'm Dr. Mike Dhaliwal, Vedic Sage. Today we'll continue on the topic of ashtidatu. Ashtidatu being that which most closely resembles skeletal tissue. This time we'll focus on decreased ashtidatu called Kshaya. In the previous video, we mentioned that those with optimal and ideal ashtidatu are described as having a large and stout body. These individuals are very active, enthusiastic, and are able to bear strain due to having durable bodies. These individuals are said to live a long life. However, when ashti is diminished, this manifests as hair loss, loss of body hair, reduced hair on the beard, loss of teeth, loss of integrity of joints, and looseness of joints. Sushruta explains further that reduced ashtidatu manifests as severe pain in joints, brittleness of teeth and nails, along with dryness within the body. And finally, Dalhana adds that the entire body becomes dry, which is characteristic of increased vata dosha. So as a quick review, one of the primary sites of vata dosha is ashtidatu. Vata dosha, being etheric, naturally fills space and has an affinity for the porous nature of bone tissue. Interestingly, there's an inverse relationship such that with increased vata dosha, the porosity or the porous nature of bone increases, which reduces bone density and leads to diminished ashtidatu. The clinical correlation of this is that with increasing age, vata generally increases, which results in reduced bone density, resulting in osteoporosis, for example. And knowing the function of ashtidatu is responsible for posture, it makes sense that with age, one may develop osteoporosis, develop stiffness with aches and pains in joints, for example, osteoarthritis, develop poor posture along with the loss of height. Also, with osteopenia or diminished bone density, there is an increased risk of developing fractures. Management of diminished ashtidatu is first to remove the cause and to consider food, drinks, and activities which increase bone tissue. Now, although we've painted the picture of vata dosha being the main culprit, it's important to realize that any of the doshas can be involved. Knowing that the proper function of just about anything requires the coordination of all three doshas upon bodily tissue. For example, vata allows for movement and flexibility of joints, and if vata is aggravated, this will lead to degenerative changes such as stiffness and fusion of joints or bone on bone. Kapha provides lubrication and maintains the structural integrity of joints, and if kapha becomes aggravated, this may lead to swelling in the affected joints such as effusions. Pitta has an affinity for raktadhatu or blood. Pitta keeps joints warm with good blood flow and allows for proper metabolism. And if pitta is aggravated, this may involve inflammation with pain and swollen joints. It's important to acknowledge another very important factor in this pathological process, which is ama. Ama tends to create obstruction, which further aggravates the doshas, amplifying pain. That said, before managing doshas, it's important to help prevent the formation of ama and to help digest or neutralize ama by considering dipa and pachan respectively. Likewise, langana or lightening therapy is important to help break this vicious cycle of toxemia from ama. Therefore, fasting or eating light foods which are easy to digest helps to prevent the formation of ama. Dipan pachan with herbs such as ginger, cumin, mustard helps to improve the digestive capacity, which will help to prevent the formation of ama. Once ama has been addressed, one can then consider the management of certain doshas, and the predominant dosha can be ascertained by clinical features. For example, vata predominant osteoarthritis involves joint pain with severely restricted mobility, joint pain which tends to worsen during cold and damp weather, for example, the monsoon or rainy season, as well as pain which worsens during the evening and nights, often reflects vata type of arthritis. Just as vata increases with pungent, bitter, and astringent taste, foods with these tastes will worsen vata type arthritis. Since vata is cold and is aggravated by cold, management of vata dosha is warmth. Therefore, one should consider the application of soothing oils or herbal paste applied directly onto the affected joints. Powders such as bachin, datura, vacha can be made into a paste by adding water. And once this paste is applied, one should consider the application of heat, such as the use of a hot sauna, steam bath, or applying a hot sandbag directly onto the affected joint. Specific joints can be managed. For example, the knee can be managed with janu vasti, or oil pooling over the knee, kati vasti, or oil pooling over the lower back, or over the neck, which is griva vasti. And to manage vata more thoroughly, one would consider virechana, or more importantly, vasti, which is a medicated enema, to help eliminate excess vata dosha. Pitta predominant arthritis involves more of an inflammatory process experienced as burning sensation. Often the affected joint is hot to touch. Pain is often worsened during late summer or autumn when pitta is aggravated. Just as pitta is increased with sour and pungent taste, hot and spicy food tends to aggravate pitta-type arthritis. Management for pitta-type arthritis involves cooling. Therefore, the application of anti-inflammatory herbs or lepa, or even pouring a stream of medicated milk over the affected joint, which is called Kshaya, is beneficial. And for more thorough management of removing excess pitta, one would consider virechana along with rakta mokshana, or bloodletting. And to help to prevent the increase of pitta, one may consider tikta-grita, or medicated ghee with bitter herbs. And finally, kapha predominant arthritis is more associated with effusions. Since kapha is predominantly water, water being cool, these joints are swollen but cold to touch. Pain is worse in the morning and tends to be aggravated during early spring when kapha conditions are more aggravated. Management involves the application of paste, which are drying, along with the application of warmth, sudation, or sweating therapy. For more effective management of removing excess kapha, one would consider vamana, or therapeutic vomiting. Okay guys, this was just a bird's eye view of looking at ashti conditions involving certain doshic imbalances along with basic management considerations. Hope you've enjoyed, and until next time, be well.